Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Thursday, May 30th, and we are here answering your financial questions. Now, if you've got something going on, cooking up in your life, maybe you're really young, maybe you're older, maybe you're in between, maybe you're thinking about a new job, a new career, maybe you're thinking about moving your actual home and you're saying, wait, I can't give up this low mortgage interest rate. That's okay. We may be able to help you out. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write down a note, and we'll get it. And if you want to come on the air, just check that box. Mark does everything else. And yes, we'll make up a name for you. Yes, you can be anonymous. Don't worry. And while you're on the website, don't forget you can check out all of our great content that lives there. We've got a blog, and we've got resources, and we've got a video section. Check out our show. It's the YouTube show, Jill on Money, powered by The Compound. And you can just click on the link and check some of those great videos out with our friends from The Compound. Okay, today we are on the line with Mary from New York. Hi, Mary. How are you? What can we do for you?
Hi, Jill and Mark. Thank you for taking my call.
Happy to do so. Tell us what's going on.
So I am a 54-year-old from New York. I am working full-time, intend to work as long as work and health would allow me. Recently separated during the pandemic, divorce to be finalized, finances have been separate. I think my financial situation are solid, although we've had some difficulties during the marriage being made to feel having nothing by my ex-spouse. So I have a general question needing advice on financial plans for the future, to how to accumulate wealth, looking for advice on where to invest, how much, how to contribute to retirement funds, how to withdraw retirement when the time comes.
You got a lot on your plate, lady.
Yes, all sorts of questions going on.
Okay.
I think I have listened to your show, binge listening to your show for the past several months, learned a whole lot. So thank you both so much.
We are so happy. Wow, I love a binge listener. So let's start drilling down into some of the numbers. So right now, the assets have been divided up, and so now we're just waiting for like the actual, divorce decree. But you've got the money that is everything's been transferred wherever it needs to be transferred. So first, let's start with this, Mary. How much do you earn right now?
Somewhere between $225 and $250.
Okay, that's great. And are you making a retirement contribution right now based on this income?
Yes, I have been. So this income is split between two jobs. One is a nonprofit. The other one is the federal government. I have been maxing out on both of those two jobs on the retirement front, or in traditional.
Okay. How much money in the nonprofit? Is that a 403B?
It is.
How much money's in there right now?
It's got about $850.
Okay, that's great. Fantastic. And the federal government, is that a TSA, a TSP?
It is a TSP. Last I checked, it's got about 500.
Wow. Really amazing. And you said traditional, both are traditional, right?
Right.
Okay, got it. Any other retirement accounts that are outstanding right now?
I don't know where this came from, but I have a very small rollover IRA. It's been just sitting there for many, many years. It's about 85,000 at Vanguard in a total bond market index.
Okay. Got it. Do you have other investments like a brokerage account?
I do have a brokerage account. I think it's about between like 500 to 600,000. Yes.
You made it sound like it was just a little bit of an. Is this at Vanguard also?
It is also at Vanguard.
Okay, got it. In that account, are you continually putting money into that, or in other words, do you put like $1,000 a month in there, or is it just sort of when I build up a bunch of money in my savings, that's when I do it? Is it a more methodical?
I wish it's more methodical, actually.
But not.
Not quite.
Okay.
I have been putting in a couple $1,000s a month.
Okay.
But certainly not as methodical as I would like to be.
Okay. Now you're young, you're 54. Do you have some kids?
I have 3 kids,
How old are they?
15, 17, and 19.
15, 17, and 19. Is 19 in college already?
The 19-year-old is in college.
Okay. And where in college, is this at private, public? How's it being paid for?
It is a private college, and it's being paid for. All 3 of them have 529s. I've been very lucky because their 529s have been fully funded by my parents.
Oh, I love your parents.
So do I. The money aside.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's great. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that. And your parents are still alive and doing okay?
They're still alive, fairly healthy. Their financials are very secure, so I don't have to worry about that.
Okay, great. Is there any ongoing obligation to your ex? In other words, you have a lot of money here, but is there anything that you have to pay out to your ex, or your ex has to pay out to you?
So believe it or not, he is the moneyed spouse in this marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to pay out anything. In fact, right now there is an $8,000 per month child support coming in.
Wow. Okay. And that what happens with that money for you usually?
What happens to that money goes to the children's expenditures.
And that's what I was wondering, is that, like, based on your $200,000 or $250,000 that you're earning, could you support your family, your 3 kids and you on that money, or that support is really necessary? That's kind of the question I'm asking.
That support right now is definitely necessary because my 2 younger ones are still in high school and they're in private school, so the tuition is very, very high.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. It's so hard to actually come up with this number because your expenses are so high right now with the kids, but do you have any idea, if we were looking in the future and planning for your retirement, do you have any idea about what you need for your own retirement income?
My guess is that it's fairly minimal because I don't really spend a whole lot of money.
Yeah, that's because you have kids and you're busy, but you're not going to have that forever.
Right. And I think the things that I like to do tend to not cost a whole lot of money.
Well, let me ask you this. What number should we plug in there? When you say it's very low, how much do you think?
I would say $5,000 at most.
I'm making it $6,000. I'm going to make you spend more money. Okay. Will you be entitled to a pension from the federal government?
Yes, a small one so far. It is right now just under $10,000
a year.
Yes,
okay.
I think so.
Okay, I gotcha. How long do you think you want to work? If we're just going to, again, this is just plugging in some numbers to give you an idea, but when you look ahead, how much, I know you have a 15-year-old. So is it 10 more years that you think you want to work just to get the 15-year-old through college, or what do you think?
At least that.
Okay.
I actually like my job.
Oh, good.
So I'm hoping to work longer. But I don't know
67 or 70?
I can foresee the next 5 years. My job is fairly secure for the next 5 years. After the 5 years, it really depends on whether we get grants, whether my position is supported or not, because all of it is temporary, essentially.
All right. Understood. Okay. When you look ahead at, say, Social Security, do you happen to know what your benefit might be at age 67, your full retirement age, or at age 70?
So at full retirement age of 67, right now the retirement benefit is at $3,600 per month.
Yep. And at 70?
I did not look at that.
All right. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Do you own a home?
I do own a home. After the separation, I bought a house for $1.15 million because we live in a high-cost area.
Yep.
I have a mortgage that is at $350,000.
$350,000.
Yes.
Okay. What's the mortgage interest rate?
5%.
5%. Not bad. Not bad. Is that the only debt that you have outstanding, the home mortgage?
There is some other short-term debt, about 30,000 short-term debt from home renovations that was done in the past several years, but they would be paid off in the next year or so.
Okay. You told me about the $500,000 or $600,000 in the brokerage account. Is there any reason we should use some of that money to pay off this $30,000? What's the interest rate on that debt?
That debt actually is interest deferred.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So
okay.
I'm not
I got you.
trying to pay it off.
Okay, I understood. In addition to the brokerage account, which you said is about $500,000 or $600,000, is there also some savings squirreled away somewhere?
There is a emergency fund. From listening to you, I have about $60,000 in it. Of that, about $30,000 is earmarked for some other home renovation because I have a very, very old house that need a lot of work done.
Okay. And if you look at the brokerage account right now, all that money that's at Vanguard, that $500,000 or $600,000, how is that mostly invested?
Mostly 80% is in the total stock index fund.
So it's just been killing it, going up, 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 up. And are you comfortable with that, with that risk level?
I think so, yes.
Okay. If you were to give me sort of the amount of money right now, so you said $225,000 to $250,000 is, income. You're maxing out your 403B and your thrift savings plan. Is that include the catch-up contributions because you're over the age of 50?
Yes, it does.
Okay. What are you thinking about? Like when you say to me, like, I need some advice about a financial plan, it seems to me that when you came on the air and said that, I was ready to write down much smaller numbers. So what I want to tell you is I think as a 54-year-old recently divorced person, you've got a lot of money and you should take a deep breath and know that, you have $2 million essentially and the kids' college is paid for. So that you're doing great. And presuming you're going to work for another 10 years or so, and, I know 5 is only like the near term that you can bet on. But this is all fantastic news. You're doing exactly what you should be doing. Okay? You are absolutely,
Thanks very much.
You really are. So congratulations on that. I'm wondering, do either of your retirement accounts offer Roth versions?
I think at least one of them do.
I mean, the
I'm not
thing
sure.
is, I know you live in a high cost, high tax state. So I get that. But I'm wondering whether, one of the issues that I see is that you have some of this, what we call sort of like this deferred retirement account ticking time bomb. That's what my friend
Yes.
Ed Slott would say. That, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So I wonder if it might make sense for you to start using a Roth for at least one of these retirement accounts. Look, if that's the worst thing that's happening, that's pretty darn good. Like if that's the only thing I'm really worried about here. So I would try to do that. And maybe what I would also think about doing is, as you go forward, I'd love for you to really get a handle on what you think your real needs are spending wise. It doesn't have to happen right this second, but I think that you're doing everything right. You've got a lot of money that you've squirreled away. You've gotten the house done. For the years that you're how many more years do we get child support until the youngest is what, 23, 1? What is it?
I think after she goes to college.
Okay. So, while you're still getting that child support, what I do think is good is if you put some money in the Roth, you keep building up the brokerage account. I mean, let's say that it is age 67 that you actually retire. And let's even say that for 5 more years, you make this level of money. But even if you make less money after that, even if you say, well, I don't want to work 2 jobs, I'm only going to work one of these jobs, right? You can earn less money and let your money do the heavy lifting. You absolutely can do that. And you will not have to save as much money. You just don't spend a lot of money. So if you're saying to me $6,000 a month, and we know that, Social Security at age 67 is $3,600, what I think would likely happen is that when you are looking at winding down and not working anymore, and maybe not even working as much, you start pulling money out of the pre-tax accounts, pay the tax that's due, right? So you don't compound this problem every single year until you have to pull the money out at 75. And that's how we get some of the money out. You're doing what you should be doing. I will just caution you a teeny tiny bit about as you get older and nearing retirement. I know, you've got the Vanguard Total Bond Index in one rollover, but if all of this money, and most of it is like 80% stocks, I would start to say that, in 5 years, you might want to start scaling that back a little bit. Every time you have one of these big drops in the stock market, it doesn't bother you because you're working. Once you have to actually rely on this money and start pulling money out, it might bother you a little bit more. So I would do that. The only other thing that I would consider now is that presuming you have all of your estate planning done, because that usually happens after you get divorced, do you have life insurance? And I'm wondering if something happened to you, are the kids taken care of by your moneyed ex?
I do have some term life insurance with my employer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you think that's sufficient. It's about 3 times total salary.
Well, I mean, if God forbid something happened to you, wouldn't your ex be able to take care of the kids?
I believe so.
All right. I like that you believe so. I would hope so, right?
Right. And the kids are really not that young, right?
Yeah, exactly. Are there any other assets that you have that we have not accounted for? Because maybe you probably don't need life insurance in that respect. Is there anything else that's out there?
We do have the previous family home.
Mm-hmm.
We still own it, so I own half of it.
Oh.
It's being rented out currently. The rent is about $8,000 a month, and the rent is coming to me for now.
Wait,
100%? Because I'm managing it.
Oh, I see. How much is the property worth?
The property is worth a lot. It should be about $1.6 million. The taxes are also very high. It's upward of $30,000 a year.
Huh.
So we're still making some money out of the rental.
But why not sell it?
When we were separating, the market wasn't doing so well, so we didn't quite sell it, and now it's been on the rental.
But this thing that's worth $1.6 million, it's just taxes. There's no. Is there a mortgage outstanding?
No, there is no mortgage on it.
Okay, so is this something that will be sold, and like you should get $800,000 eventually?
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay.
My children, in fact, loves the house so much, and so they're hoping that I don't sell it.
Oh boy.
But at the same time, I don't think I have the money to buy my ex-spouse out of that. Is there a way I may be able to do that you can see?
Look, I think it sort of depends on what the next few years will bring to you. Is there any way, let me ask you this. If we saw, like in a few years, is there any reason why you would ever want to move back into it?
Not particularly.
Okay.
The house is really big.
Mm-hmm. All right, then I don't see why we would do it then. If you said to me, oh my God, I would love to actually move back there and be there, and that's like the family homestead, and that's where I want to like live my retirement, then we could figure it out. But if not, sell it. Get the kids over this. Time will go by. They'll be fine. Okay. There's no reason to buy him out. The only reason would be to buy him out would simply be that you want to move back in. In 5 years, if you're a college graduate, right, if you got 2 kids out of college and they want to buy it, yeah, sure. We'll be happy to buy it for them. But come on, let's move on. And that equity, they'll be happier to have the money from the equity. You're in great shape. I wouldn't use your money to buy that house out. No way.
Thank you. That makes sense.
And is there anything else that is on your mind? Because I think you're in great shape.
Thank you for that. How would you go about doing the Roths?
So, I mean, what you would do is I would open either the 403B or the federal government has a Roth option, right?
Yes.
Okay. So all you would do is you would say to them, you change it. You'd say, instead of doing pre-tax, I'm using the Roth. And that's what you would do. And that would be, for the next certain bunch of years. You don't have to. when you stop working, it may be a time where you start to say, okay, I'll convert it. I don't want you to burn up. See, the problem for you is you have this brokerage account, which is great. I'm not sure you're going to want to sell what's in the brokerage account, realize the gain, then use that to actually convert from a traditional to a Roth option. So I think we might do that, but it might be 5 years from now. I'd have to really see where you are and whether or not that makes sense. For the time being, now the money that's going into retirement accounts, use the Roth option instead of using the pre-tax option.
Wouldn't I have to pay fairly high taxes
Yep.
right now?
But yes, and I mean, look, you have high income right now, but I would, if you want it, you're going to have to pay these taxes at some point in the future, right? So I guess that what the time you can at least try to experiment a little bit with it. If you don't want to do that and you really say, no, I'm receiving too much income, Jill, I'm single, I've got $200,000 or $250,000 of income right now. And then if I add it all up, all that money that I make from the child support and from the rental, all that money keeps me in the 35% tax bracket. So if you want to keep using the pre-tax option, all that will do is it will kick the can down the road, and maybe later on, 5 years, 10 years, you will be in a lower tax bracket. Maybe that'll happen. But just remember, whatever's in there, that $1.3 million, actually 1.4 with your old rollover, that will continue to accumulate. So I'm okay if you want to use the pre-tax accounts. That will help you tax-wise now. Just know taxes will have to be paid eventually on this money. And you may be in a lower tax bracket and you may not. But if that's a risk you're willing to take, that's fine too.
I understand. Thank you so much.
Makes sense?
That does make sense.
All right, my friend. Mary in New York, happily divorced and on her way. Next chapter, baby. Move on. It's all good. You've done a great job. If you, like Mary, have come to a real crossroads in your financial life, maybe it is because of a divorce or a death or a birth or a marriage. It doesn't have to all be bad. If you need our assistance, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. Let us know if you would be willing to come on the air. Don't forget to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. It comes out every single Friday. That's tomorrow by my count. And we just ask that if you wouldn't mind, could you leave us a rating and review wherever you listen? You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app. And of course, we ask you to do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.